This video is one half of a two-part collaboration between PhilosophyTube and BlinkPopShift. You can click on my face to go and watch Emily's video and find out whether making something harder to watch actually means you get more out of it. The question we're concerned about in this half of the discussion is, are YouTube poops art? If you've never seen a YouTube poop, then it might be kind of difficult to explain because it resists rigid description and it comes in a lot of different styles and flavours. It's tempting to borrow Justice Potter Stewart's aphorism about hardcore pornography. It's hard to define, but I know it when I see it. But generally speaking, YouTube poops are online videos created by poopers which take footage from a number of original sources and distort, corrupt, mash, alter, redub, and combine them into something new and chaotic, often effervescent, weird, and amusing. Often they feature established techniques, tropes, or poopisms as defining features. For instance, audio-visual corruption, repeating clips and changing their speed, taking audio from one source and putting it over another,
Red Leader, this is Gold Leader.
I copy, Gold Leader. Returning
For the target shaft now.
playing something and then reversing it to make it sound silly,
You are an old man and a FOOF!
suddenly increasing the volume to a really, really loud level to be annoying, auto-tuning and layering clips to make a tune, and sentence mixing.
History became legend. Legend became myth. Myth became myth. Bastards.
The video, now recognised as the first YouTube poop, appeared in December of 2004, meaning poop is now almost a decade old. Some people think it's banal and silly, but I have a soft spot for it. I think it can be surprising and entertaining. Childish, but charming. Puerile, but pure. But is YouTube poop art? One of the things that might seem to separate YouTube poop from, say, Da Vinci's Mona Lisa or Van Gogh's Sky at Night is that it is essentially derivative. It is a mash of other works. Rather than create something totally original, poopers take other people's work and remix it. But why can't a remix be artistic? In their paper Digital Remix, Colin Lancashire and Michelle Nobel say that a remix is taking one thing and looking at it from a different point of view whilst still retaining some of the original. And surely loads of art does that. Surely loads of art derives from other sources. Fan art derives from other creative works, so does fan fiction and AMVs and cosplays, like this amazing steampunk reinterpretation of Disney's Ariel. Shakespeare was a remixer. The Merchant of Venice was inspired by an Italian text, Il Pecorone, and a medieval one, the Gestalt Romanorum. Romeo and Juliet was a poem by Arthur Brooke before it was ever a play, and an Italian novel before that. And Troilus and Cressida? That's reinterpreting the Trojan War. That's remixing Homer. Philosophy disagrees on what exactly the definition of art is, and even whether there should be a definition of art, but just because something is derivative doesn't mean we should rule it out as a work of art in its own right. YouTube poops fit a number of the suggested criteria for art. George Dickey said that art has to exist within an institution. Well, YouTube is a pretty big institution, but if that's not enough for you, there's also YouTube.net, the pooper's paradise, where poop theory is discussed, techniques are analysed, poops are even sorted according to their aesthetic value into good and bad. Wittgenstein said that art is creative material always interpreted according to cultural context. Well, there's certainly a lot of context in YouTube poops. If you take the audio from Star Wars and dub it over the video from Harry Potter, then that's not going to be a funny juxtaposition unless your audience already knows how separate and different those two things are.
Cut the shot already, too.
Or if you take censor bleeps and put them over My Little Pony, then that's not going to be funny unless your audience knows that My Little Pony is, ostensibly anyway, a show aimed at a less mature audience.
Just need to be alone so I can study without a bunch of ponies trying to make friends all the time.
YouTube poops have a lot in common with the movement known in artistic circles as surrealism, bizarre juxtapositions, surprise, non sequiturs, and randomness. Surrealism is supposed to be characterised, though, by unbridled emotive expression. Are YouTube poops expressive? It might seem weird to say that remixes can be expressive of an emotion or an attitude, but in his book Remix, Laurence Lessig wrote that the growth of the TV and the internet over old-fashioned forms of media mean that audio and video are fast becoming the new writing, the new way of expressing information. Whereas in ye olden days, if you wanted to distribute information, you kind of had to write it down and pass it around. Look how things have changed. Look at the use of infographics to give info, rage faces to express emotions, the rise of the reaction GIF. Remixes can of course be expressive. Remixes can be thought-provoking, evocative, even political.
I wanna take you to a gay bar, gay bar, gay bar.
Whether an individual YouTube poop is expressive probably depends on the pooper themselves. Many make it out of boredom, or for amusement, or for catharsis. Tolstoy wrote that for an artwork to be expressive of an emotion, the artist has to sincerely experience that emotion whilst making it. And if a pooper experiences amusement, which is then communicated to the audience, then hasn't something been expressed there? Namely, lols? I'm keen to hear from poopers on this and the attitudes that inspire them to poop. Maybe the expressivity of YouTube poops is captured in this YouTube forum comment from 2010. Poop is supposed to make us feeling freedom. I'm inclined to say yes, YouTube poops can be art, although that doesn't mean that they all are. But what do you guys think? Is this art? Click on my face to see the second half of this collaboration, and Emily over at BlinkPopShift will tell you whether making something harder to view actually means you'll get more out of it. That's particularly relevant to YouTube poops when we consider poopisms like audio-visual corruption and really, really high volume. Send me your questions, comments, queries and comebacks underneath the video on Facebook, Twitter or by email. All the poops and sources mentioned in this video are in the description if you care to take a look. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode and subscribe to PhilosophyTube and BlinkPopShift,
or else you will die.